Well, Heidi ho, my peeps. It is New Year's Eve, 8:26 in the morning, and we are going to be making desserts for tonight and for tomorrow. Now, tonight I'm having my family thing, just my boys and Grant and I, and then tomorrow I am going to my sister's for breakfast, so I thought I would pull out all of my Dollar Tree mixed cookie doughs and brownie mixes and, you know, cheesecake fillings, and see if I couldn't whip up a beautiful tray of desserts. I also want to bring some stuff over to my neighbor. She brought me our tamales for this year and they were wonderful. So what do I have out here? Well, we're just going to do it quick. I got my pumpkin pie cheesecake mix. I've got some brownie cookie bar mix. I brought out some peanut butter because I've made these peanut butter cookies before and they've been a little bit dry. So I'm thinking maybe some peanut butter in the mix might help. I have some gingerbread cookie mix, which I have never tried, so we'll give this a go. I've brought out things I'm going to need: butter, margarine, and so forth. I've got my Dollar Tree Rice Krispies there. I've got 7 cups plus marshmallows to make a Rice Krispie treats. I have some fudge brownie mix and some sugar cookie mix. I was thinking about making thumbprint cookies with little bits of almond roca in the center. I thought that would be neat. I brought out some extra chocolate chips that I might be throwing into my brownies, or who knows what I'm going to do with them. So here we go. Let's see what we can whip up. Okay, we're going to start with the simplest one. I'm going to do this fudge brownie mix. I'm going to do it as they tell you on the back. Only instead of using a 1/2 cup vegetable oil, I'm going to use a 1/2 cup melted butter. Butter is better. Now, I'm reheating my oven to 350, and I'm going to add, as my little tarted up ingredient, I think I'm going to add about 3/4 of a cup, maybe 1/2 cup of these semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'm going to go ahead and do this in a glass pan that I will line with some, parchment paper, and give it a little spray with my wonderful olive oil spray or coconut oil spray from the Dollar Tree. So I'll get this all whipped up and we'll get it in the oven. Okay, I've got my egg, my 2 tablespoons of water, and my melted butter. I'm just going to stir this up a little bit before adding the mix. I think it mixes better if you can get all your wet or wettish ingredients all kind of incorporated first. Just a bit. Okay, that's good enough. Now I'm going to jump in my mix, give it a nice stir. Let's see, how long do they want us to stir that? Let's see, what does that say? Oh, about 50 times. So I just want to kind of incorporate everything. So that's what I'm going to do. In mid-stride, I've decided to change my recipe. Instead of putting the chocolate chips in, I found about, I don't know, 8 of these Andes mints lying around. Grant had bought a package at Costco. And so I'm just breaking them up. I'm going to stir them into this brownie mix, and we will have a nice little surprise in our brownies when they're done. Ooh, that mix is looking beautiful. You can see that I've got my parchment paper down here. I've given it a little spray with my coconut oil. My oven's ready to go, so now we're going to stick those in the oven. I think they're going to go for about 20 minutes, but I'll start watching them after about 12. Oh, that's looking meticulously beautiful. Let's put that puppy in the oven. Okie dokie, I just set my timer. Oh, I think I have a dirty lens. Hang on. I don't know, maybe not. I just set my timer and for 20 minutes. Now for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to clean up my dining room and get that all Christmas Eve perfect. Well, looky there, the brownies are out. Just pulled them out of the oven. They're looking wonderful. Now we're going to give those sugar cookies a try. I've got my tablespoon of water and my melted butter. I don't think I need to pre-mix this though. And my sugar cookie mix is going to go in. I'm doing this exactly the way they tell you to in the instructions at 375 like the brownies were. I will drop them by rounded spoonfuls, but, oh, and they only take like 7 to 9 minutes. Okay. All right. But the thing I'm going to change on this to holiday it up, I found 16 of these puffy peppermints, the last of what Grant had bought. So I'm going to take these in the other room. I'm going to get out my my hammer and I'm going to smash these up and mix them into the cookie dough. All right, I've got the dough all worked up. Now I'm going to dump in my chopped, or rather smashed up peppermint, and I found something else to put in here besides just the peppermint. Something that will give it a little bit more color. I found these from 99-cent store, these rainbow sugar pearls. These things are good, actually. They taste good. So I'm going to put a bunch of those in just to give it a little bit more color. Then I found some of the sugar on top. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of that on each cookie before we put it in the oven. Doesn't that dough look pretty? That should be make real nice little sugar cookies. Again, I've got my parchment paper, which I never ever bake without anymore. It's just so worth it to use the parchment paper. A light little mist of my spray coconut oil from the Dollar Tree. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll up 12 of those little balls, or 12 little balls out of that dough. I am going to scatter them on this, press them all down with a finger, and we'll take it from there. I made another last minute decision, which I frequently do. Gosh, my lens looks messy, doesn't it? Sorry. Anyhow, I went ahead and cut up these almond rokas into thirds, and I'm just simply smashing one down in the center of each little cookie. So these things are going to be, I mean, if they turn out, if they don't burn or whatever, they're going to be very candy-like. Oh, I have one left over for me, yay. Okay, so let's get these puppies in the oven. They're actually only supposed to bake for 7 to 9 minutes, so I'm going to have to be right on top of it. Let's see how they turn out. Oops, I forgot to shake my sugar on top on my little sugar cookies, but that's okay. I mean, there's enough candy in those to, you know, give everybody in the neighborhood diabetes. So, anyhow, here, I think we're going to go ahead and, in the next 7 minutes while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and put these peanut butter cookies together. And what they say to do is use 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil and a tablespoon of water. Now, the last time I did that, they turned out so crumbly that they barely made it off the cookie tray, cookie sheet before they fell apart. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to add a generous dollop of this organic peanut butter that I got from Trader Joe's. You can use any peanut butter, your Dollar Tree peanut butter, whatever. And I'm going to see if that makes it hold together. Now I've got 3 of these. You know, I think I'm going to make 2 of them and save the third one for later. Right. So I have doubled this recipe to 4 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of water. I'm going to go ahead and kind of stir in the first bag of dough mix. Now I'm going to stir in the second bag. Come here, you. There's more in there. I always have to check those corners. Sometimes they hide it. All right, now we're just going to... Okay, so my alarm went off on these cookies. They've been in here for about 7 minutes, 45 seconds. I'm just going to touch it. Okay, they're still just a tad, I would call them just a tad underdone. I'm going to let them go for another minute and then check them again. All right, now we're going to finish stirring in our peanut butter dough mix. And, hey Nikki. My Nikki just walked in. Okay. So we're going to get this all stirred in. Well, you know, this is just, it's a crumbly dough, and I just don't trust it to hang together. So now I'm going to swap in about, I'm going to go with about a half a cup of this peanut butter, and let's see what that does. Okay, it's looking wonderful. You hear the sound of my washer started. I like the consistency of this dough so much better with about, I used about 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter to 2 packages of the peanut butter cookie mix. So again, I've got my tray all ready to go. I'm going to form 24 little balls and do the crisscross thing with the fork. Sugar cookies are out of the oven. I put them on top of my washer to cool on their little piece of parchment paper. You can see they kind of melted all together, but you know what? I think that's going to still turn out fine. I'm going to go ahead and get a knife and kind of cut them apart now while they're still warm, so that they will break apart easily once they're completely cooled. And now we're going to get those peanut butter cookies in the oven. Oh, and that's just beautiful. We've got our classic peanut butter cookies coming over here. They are going to go into the oven. I gotta set them down first and open the oven. And in they go. I have no idea how badly they're gonna spread or any of that stuff. I'm not worried about it. This is all about how it tastes. We have left to work on while our peanut butter cookies are baking. We can do the gingerbread. I don't know, might do it, might not do it. Let's see what some of the serving suggestions are. Okay, so you can do like a ginger snap if you want to. And oh, flatten slightly with the bottom of a glass dipped in sugar. Boy, that would be good. I could use this sugar on top stuff for that. So we may actually do these. I didn't want to do a roll and cut out gingerbread man. I just don't have time or patience for that today. We still have the brownie cookie bar mix. And let's see what that does. Okay, we need, I think I would do these as cookies. And okay, that's pretty simple, just like everything else we've been doing today. Then lastly, we have our pumpkin pie cheesecake mix, and that came from Dollar Tree, as well as this graham cracker crust that came from Dollar Tree. And I still have Rice Krispies to do. So I think right now I'm going to spend some time continuing to work in my dining area. Let's see, how long do these take? Oh, another one that's 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer at 8 minutes and see how they do. Okie dokie, I've got the last of the peanut butter cookies going in right now. Now, they were crumbly, not as bad as before, but I did lose 3 of them to crumbling when I took them off the paper. Let's talk about presentation a little bit. Okay, I happen to have a glass cake stand and this glass tray thingy, and so I'm going to go ahead and just stack these up like so on the, I think I just lost you. Okay, I'm starting back. I'm starting over again. This is presentation. I've got the glass cake stand. I've got a glass tray that I bought cheap somewhere. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stack them up like that and then cover the whole shebang with a little bit of, you know, saran wrap when I'm done. I'm taking a break right now. I'm going to do some cleaning. Then we'll come back to cooking. Howdy ho. I thought you might like to take a look at how I am looking today. I haven't combed my hair in, well, since I saw my accountant earlier this week or last week, and I'm a mess, but that's okay. I rolled out of bed this morning and I just started cooking about 7:30. Okay, here's a question. If you are pressed for time, why even take the time to make these Dollar Tree boxed desserts? Well, let me tell you why. Because the difference between Dollar Tree cookies on a tray and home-baked, irregularly shaped, what in the world is actually in that cookies, that just makes or breaks a holiday. You really need to, if you at all can, spend a little time in the kitchen. Now, some people don't have kitchens. Some people don't have time to spend in kitchens, or energy or strength or mobility, all of that. That's when the Dollar Tree prepackaged cookies and 99-cent store prepackaged cookies, that's when those things come in handy, especially for those of us who don't have a lot of cash. So, I'm not dissing using that. I'm just saying if you can, go the extra mile, do it if you can at Christmas. I'm going to take a peeky-poo at these cookies. Oh, we're almost there. All right, so like I said, once these cookies are out of the oven, I'm going to go ahead and stick my ham in the oven to start getting that warmed up. And Grant's MIA. I think he's still, you know, dead to the world, asleep, and I'm not going to wake him up. I'm going to let him sleep as much as he wants to. And so that means that I'm going to have to get the vacuuming started. So I'm going to get started with that, and I will come back to you guys in just a bit. Oh, incidentally, it is about 10:50 right now. So I have been rushing around doing stuff for about 7, 8, 9, for about 3 hours. And I've actually got a lot of stuff done. I'm so proud of myself. While my ham is warming, I think I'm going to go ahead and mix up this. It doesn't take any baking, and I'm exhausted. My son's going to do the vacuuming for me. Now, it takes an 8-ounce package of cream cheese, which I have, an 8-ounce container of whipped topping, which I don't, but I do have whipped cream, so I'm going to see if that works. And then the graham cracker crust, so I'm going to go ahead and put this thing together, and we will see how it works. All right, this is a 14-ounce can of whipped cream. It says it wants 8 ounces of whipped topping. I know that's not a 1-to-1 ratio for substitution. In fact, I don't know if it's even going to work. So, here we go. Let's give this a try. I'm going to go ahead and stir this stuff in, and then I'll come back and show you the consistency once it's all stirred in. All right, this is looking kind of, I'm going to touch it. That's too stiff. That's not pourable. So I'm going to take some more of the whipped cream. We'll slap a bunch of it in there. I'm going to stir that in with my cheap little Hamilton Beach $14 mixer, and we'll take a look and see what that's like. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. This isn't pourable, but it's definitely spreadable. It's got a really nice consistency now. So I'm going to transfer this stuff here into this pie crust, and then that's going to go in the refrigerator. Okay, so here we are. We are all pushed down into this graham cracker crust. I don't know if I lost volume just because I didn't use a whipped topping, because of the whipped cream, you know, didn't have the same amount of volume. So it doesn't fill it all up, but that's no biggie. I've got all different ways to fix that. One thing I'm going to do, remember these, my cookie crumbs from the peanut butter cookies. I think first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to top this puppy with those cookie crumbs. I think that's a great way to use up my mistake. And then I think I will probably just squirt the whipped cream around the edge of this pie right before I serve it. So there'll be a, you know, kind of a raised edge of whipped cream around there. And I think that will pretty much, that'll pretty much save the presentation on that. Oh, incidentally, the flavor of this boxed pumpkin mix, wow, it is wonderful. If you see this at your Dollar Tree, the pumpkin pie filling mix, and you like pumpkin, it's definitely one to try. Well, it's now 11:38. My ham is still warming up in the oven. Making progress. The dining area is looking much, much better. Now it's time to put the tablecloths back on and set out the dishes and stuff. My pile of ingredients is diminishing. I'm now going to work on my Rice Krispie treats. I'm using these, I think they're strawberry flavored, kind of unicorn looking marshmallows. I am doing a double recipe. So a double recipe is 6 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 of these bags of marshmallow, which I am going to melt those 2 things over a low heat. Then we will add in our 12 cups of Rice Krispies. I also have a little bit of peanut butter cookie crumbles left. I'm going to go ahead and put those in. I mean, why not? And then you can see I have my big old jelly roll pan already prepared. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Well, special thanks to my son Nick, who stood at the stove and stirred all that up for me. I have some water here. I'll dip my fingers in there, my clean fingers in there, and I'll use that to kind of push it all around until it's nice and flat. Then we will let it cool. And here is the final product of our project this morning. The Rice Krispie squares and the brownies and my funky candy cookies and the peanut butter cookies. So, and of course I've got the cheesecake in the refrigerator. I'm not going to make anything else. This is tons of food, and I'm going to go ahead and put the, the other dessert mixes away for later. Look at my pretty table. Isn't it pretty? My china my mama gave me when I was 16, and the silver that I got after my grandfather passed. That was on Grant's parents' table every Christmas of his life. So yeah, I'm doing a house tour, Christmas Eve house tour video as well. So check for that a little bit later today. Bye-bye, you guys.